So this is the African Motives Media. Today we are here in the episode 2 of Youth Speak. Remember, Youth Speak is a new segment that is having all the CEOs, biggest political figures in campuses and all the big people around. So today I'm joined by the president Jkusa, Brian Mutevu. Mambo vipi?
Wataka salamu. Najua wewe ni Mlui. Mambo freshi. Yeah, tunapambana. Yes.
Maybe you are the president of Jkusa.
Yes.
We want to know who is Brian Mutevu in details.
Hey, na hii swali niliambiwa naweza ulizwa kwa interview siku moja. And I was told not to say my title, not to talk about maybe what I do in school, just to describe who Brian Mutevu is. And who is Brian Mutevu? Najijua kweli?
Tunataka kujua kama unajijua.
Kama najijua. So basically I am just a young man trying to inspire a generation of young people. I think that is what sums me up as as Brian Mutevu. Just a young man trying to inspire others and at the same time also trying to make or to write a place in history, to just write my name in the books of history.
Okay.
Yes.
To write your names in the books of history. Maybe before you joined campus politics or before you joined the school politics, what were you doing before?
I am quite the adventurous businessman. So before campus politics, I had a couple of businesses running. In my first year of study, I was doing some tomato farming in a place known as in Emali. That was in my first year of study. The other year, I started a popcorn company. Si mnaonanga watu wanakuwa na hizi flavored popcorn.
Yes, pale kwa njia pale.
Ushaona moja iko na jina Brian.
Maybe. Umeona mingi.
But anyway, I was doing some flavored popcorn. After that was after I learned value addition in class. I love practicing. I studied in class and practiced something out here. So I was also doing some popcorns. And then after that, I went really quick into also the startup space. That is where I had my, if you can remember, I think this one we were even with you the other time before we all became maybe something in the Jkusa.
Yes.
I had an app for helping students to get accommodation. That is Keja app.
Yes.
So it's trying a couple of businesses. I think business is the big idea of what I was before the politics and before maybe every other perception that comes after politics. Yes, I love business actually.
You love business.
Yes.
Napenda unapiga biashara vizuri, eh?
Yes.
Maybe
authentic business, si washosh.
Maybe just to ask you, you've been in office from January up to now.
Yes.
And calculating all the months, it is 8 months in office.
Yes.
What is your biggest achievement?
Uko sure ni January?
Yes.
March.
March. From March. Yes, March. From March to now sums up to 8 months.
Yes.
So what is the biggest achievement you've done in the 8 months?
Okay, the first one, and I think what I'm really proud of so far is that my government has not really been adamant when it comes to student representation. So the first thing is representation of our students, whether it comes to the school administration or the type of representation that I've given JQuat students out there. I think even when you go to other campuses and you even talk to other presidents, I think JQuat is in quite a respectable place in terms of representation out there. And also even with some maybe other companies out there, I think the image that we have also portrayed is something really to be proud of. The other thing is now when it comes to student representation here in the university, some policies that were maybe suggested, some of them we even prevented them. You know, it's like what Mutai Kagwe was saying during Corona. We want to prevent this Corona thing such that you will not know a person who was infected by it. So there are a lot of things that we have achieved maybe in these boardrooms that maybe even some students will never even find out about, but if they were to come in, maybe they would have really made the life of a student difficult. So those are the wins, the more silent wins, because we know, even you've been in this government with me, you know some of these massive changes that would have, if they'd have come, zingetesa stude sana. But for us, we have stood firm. We have been able to represent students. So I think that is something that I'm really proud of. Yes.
Very interesting, very interesting. Moving ahead, maybe in the 8 months, what has kept you going, or what keeps you moving, or what motivates you each and every morning?
Hey man, that one, this one I'll just say it because it's the only way that I've survived all this while in office. Because these offices are really it's not an easy job, especially if you decide to be the type of leader who is kind of straightforward, who you want your things to run in a direct way, So what has kept me in line or has kept me motivated is actually just having. I feel like next time I enter sound car preacher, but I have to say it honestly, it's God. Ni God walai.
Sasa ni God manze. That's your
Ni God
slogan.
manze. And I pray. Hey, by the way, you have to pray a lot. Once you get into this office, you have to pray a lot. Yeah, you have to also remember why you came here in the first place. But the bottom line, man, I've been in situations whereby only God can come through, and He came through. So that is what really has been my cornerstone.
Nice. Umesikia president amesema ni God man say. So if you want to succeed in anything, put God first. Moving on ahead, remember this is the Youth Speak on African Motives Media. It is a segment where you'll come to interact with the greatest minds of youth around the globe, and more so in Kenya. Moving ahead, Bwana President. Recently, we've heard that you won a multi-million fund from Coca-Cola. And since I'm with you here today, you can elaborate, because wanasemanga usitumie mate kama kalamu ipo. Kwa hivyo, you can tell us more about it.
You want to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yes.
Because by the way, I want to correct you on something. I learned when we say that we are among the greatest minds, it might tell a person out there it's as if they don't have a great mind. No, we all have great minds. It's just that for us, we've been given an opportunity to showcase what our abilities can do. Now, when it comes to the matter of Coca-Cola, unajua nyinyi mmefanya hii kitu ikae ni kama nimepatiwa mamilioni, nikaambiwa Mutevu chukua hii, take these millions and run away with them. No. So when we spoke to Coca-Cola, or when we approached Coca-Cola, they had an idea of branding, just coming and doing some few branding in our student center. But again, we were able to change the conversation in a way to enable us benefit as the students of Jkusa, to revamp. When you go to a student center right now, it's quite in a dilapidated state.
Sure.
We have tried to talk to the administration in terms of, Maze, can you come through for us like they came for the regime last year in terms of these stalls here or these offices. But again, it's been quite a hard bargain because every time hakuna pesa. But anyway, money will never be enough. So I don't know why it was such a big challenge for them. But anyway, again, God will come through, and I think that's a deal that we are waiting to see what Coca-Cola will be able to do in our student center to at least uplift the place for the benefit of our students. At least hata students wa Jkusa wakileta marafiki zao even in the student center, aibu si mingi sana, tunaficha aibu kidogo. Yes.
Very nice. So the fund was basically for the student center.
Yes, it's for the student center. Although they might also do some few things, especially in our parks, like such as Cedar Park. We might have also at least some good gazebos there. Yes.
Very nice. Comrades in Jkusa, you're going to enjoy. You're going to have it nice because courtesy of the president, Brian Mutevu. So moving ahead, there have been complaints from comrades in Jkusa about the tribalization of events. You find like an event is dominated by
tribalism.
Yeah, there's tribalism all over. As the president of the union, what can you tell us about the same issue?
First of all, tribalism is really a topic that kind of really it disgusts me in a way. By the way, nakwanga na beef na senya nakwanga very tribalistic. Because first of all, this is something that has been said over and over, and it's something that I hope maybe in the next 20 years we won't be having this conversation. But people do not choose where they come from, So for any leader maybe to make something that is made to be for everyone, a matter of maybe a single tribe, that would be wrong. But again, you know, also as you say, maybe the tribalism in events, you have to come clear. Is it that the people that are getting all the gigs in these events are from one tribe, or is it that what is happening? What do you mean by tribalism?
For example, just from an experience in the previous events,
Yes.
I'll not mention the music and the tribe, but there's some music from a certain tribe that dominated the whole event.
Yes.
And you find that a big fraction of the audience will not be enjoying the event. So there's some of the things that are affecting the comrades, and they gave me the question to give it to you as the president.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, because we come into office on a different card, everyone comes into, you know, Jkusa is a very funny system. You don't choose who you come into office with.
Sure.
Everyone campaigns for themselves. So you might have maybe different people coming with a different idea. And if a person is managing a specific event, maybe the best you can do also for me as a leader is just provide the guidance that, you know, bro, this event is for everyone. Yeah, it's not just for your members, for your tribesmen. I can just guide them. You know, if they pick it, it's okay. If they don't pick, lazima life is onge, you know, at the end of the day. But I think it would be wrong if such a thing happened. And it's just for us to check as the leaders in Jkusa that we favor all the students. Yeah, but for me, I think you to your tribes, me inaniboingi vibaya. Because there's a certain time nilikuwa nimekalishwa na watu wengine huku, sitataja ni akina nani, but wananiambia wewe Mutevu, ikifika time ya basari, oh you know, si ni watu wa home, we modoa, oh sorry, sijataja tribe, huku ni kwetu, so people should get bursaries more. Mimi nashangaa, kwani watu wa places zingine pia watesekangi? Ni sawa, huyu msee ametoka northeastern na hana any other hope. Yeye pia ana contribute the same as Jkusa.
Sure.
So okay, kwani Kenya si yetu si wote? And this is a topic that really gets me worked up, because honestly, at the end of the day, we all are children of the same nation.
Sure.
Once you get out, in fact, I think it's just the short minds that yani pia watu hawajatembea sana. But the moment, let's say I got a chance to travel outside the country, and I noticed, man, in fact, outside the country, I'm not even Kenyan. I'm just considered African. So just imagine the person that just perceives maybe themselves in one of the 42 tribes, one over 42, the tribes that are in Kenya. So imagine umse mwenye ana believe he's something big because of portraying their tribe. So it's wrong. The only time that tribes should be important is when we celebrate our heritage, when our unique cultures blend in to make each of us stronger, you know. But I should never use my culture at any point in time to belittle yours. You know, that is wrong. Even in the Jkusa politics, ati msee anakama nakwambia wewe nivotie juu mimi ni wa msee wa kwenu. So juu mimi ni msee wa kwenu, natambua shida zako.
Not.
Do I hold the same system of beliefs that maybe you hold as a person? So for me, I hope, and I really hope, if I ever get even into politics in Kenya, man, don't vote for me because I'm from your tribe. Vote for me because you believe that I can effect the change that you want, because you believe that I can work out the problems that you have and change your situation. Because that is what leadership should be about. You know, it should not be about maybe favoring one tribe or another. Yeah, so that is totally wrong. Yes.
Very interesting, very wise words from the Jkusa President Brian Mutevu. Remember, this is the African Motives Media, and this is the Youth Speak. I am your host, Papa Graham. We're moving on vizuri sana, and to the next question, Mr. President. There is a rumor that is circulating around that you and your regime are planning to extend your regime to a later date than the one that is set into the Constitution.
Yes.
Maybe you'll shed light on that. In connection to that, there is the issue or the story of the Constitution amendment.
Yes.
So how are the two connected? Is the Constitution amendment going to do anything concerning the extension of regime, or what are you going to stay in office forever?
Hey, Buddha, I think I am Mutebu. I am not somebody else who stayed in office hadi sheria ikaanza kutengenezwa juu yake. But anyway, I respect the guy. He made it in life in his own way. But for me, first of all, watu wametupenda hivyo. They want us to extend.
Yeah, I've been given that question.
For real? That is niliona
kwa comrade.
Unajua pale niliona siku fulani after nimetoa vijana. Unajua vijana wetu pia wajekuwa saa zingine wanakuanga wakora kidogo. Sasa kidogo in containers there was a raid on the illicit brews that was taking place hapo hivyo. Kidogo nikaingilia pale, kidogo pia mimi nipokea mabare zangu. Lakini at least nikaweza kuokoa comrade because we were saying let's save the comrade from the illicit brew, but let's not also castigate the comrade mwenye ameuziwa hii product because it's somebody's job to ensure that place is closed and the brew is handled.
Sure.
So hiyo time ndio mimi niliona wasee wakisema, especially wale walitolewa kwa hiyo ngori. Niliona tu msee akisema Mutebu apewe 5 tena. Okay, hapa ni moja tu, but I believe the time that I've had in office, lazima pia mimi check my degree, niangalia at least pia nipate a good quality degree. Politics is not easy, it's time consuming. So nataka pia kutoka na degree mzuri JQuat. So I think my focus more is not really on the extension of regime. It's more about living a good system, a system that works. Because this is also something that we have to be frank with our comrades. Comrades, do you know the Jkusa election? Hiyo mnaleteangwa ndoo za ballot huko nje. It takes 10 million shillings. Like
10 million?
Inakulanga mita 10 Graham. Jkusa yearly budget ni mita 20. Sasa we nikuulize. Sasa budget ya Kenya ingekuwa trillion. Sasa imefika trillion 3. Sasa unataka kuniambia
1.5
trillion. Graham. Sasa hiyo ndo tulikuwa tumeambia watu kidogo. Sisi ni kama this regime, hiyo pesa hata itumike. Si tuliambia class reps wanalipwa. So mbona process ya kutuingiza kwa ofisi inakulanga 50% of our budget. Alafu tukiingia kwa hizi maofisi, comrades start thinking that sisi ndio liars, you know. And yet there's a certain process that can be more sustainable. Alafu ifanye mambo ikuwe better. So there's nothing like hati regime extension, no, but we wanted to leave a Jkusa that is more so streamlined, even for those coming into office. You know, again, I always think it's so stupid. I think one of the best kings in the Bible was just David. Because nakumbuka hata there's a part in the Bible yenye inasemanga, I think David alikuwa amepigana na adui wote hadi King Solomon, yeye kazi yake tu ilikuwa kujibamba tu. Sasa mimi nataka the next regime, by the time they come in, we fight this battle tumalizie. Because even in the last regime it was fought. Shall we be talking about the same things over and over?
Not really.
The next regime talking about the same thing. They're not able to pay their class representatives. They're not able to do their activities that matter to the students here. You know, we are not able to give bursaries that can be significant to help students, all because an election process each year is taking 50% of the union's income. So that is what I think comrades should know. Should know what is happening. It's your money, so you deserve to know what is happening. And actually we have to put also our foot down, because kama comrades wangenichagua na wangetaka prezo mwenye analalisha, maybe singekuwa naongelea vitu kaa hizi. But mimi niwaambie tu kweli, niwaambie comrades, pesa yenu inatumika hivi, mnataka itumike hivi ama hamtaki itumike hivi, you know. And that is where we came up with a process of changing also. I think the constitution was reviewed last year, but for us we saw that a better option would also be to amend the constitution, to set the rules. Sisi kama student tunajiwekea hizo rules za elections. What do you want leader wako? Ukichagua leader wako unataka umse aonyeshane qualities gani? Ni kukua tu kwa pass list kila time. What if mimi nimekuwa kwa pass list na transcript zangu zimejaa tu madi? Does that mean that I'm even qualified to be a leader? You know, because kuna wase new surviving 2 years, but haimaanishi that is anaonyeshana any academic excellence in that. Unaona? Another very key question that was asked is as simple as this, you know. In JQuat you can be summoned for, unaweza kuwa involved in a small case and scenario, and you as a student you are summoned to the disciplinary, you know. And here the biggest question inakuanga, See, ukienda disciplinary na uproviwe that you are not guilty of the crime that you are charged with, does it mean that now you cannot, your life in politics in JKUAT is over?
Yeah,
so we saw that it was a lot of things. It was not just even about solving the problem of election money. The other thing we saw even during our elections, nyinyi mnajikaza huku hivi, you collect your signatures on time, you submit your documents on time, and then other people wanakuja 2 weeks after you submitted your documents and they're allowed to submit those documents. So even will we allow such nonsense to take place simply because we have a constitution that is not very clear, it's just silent on a lot of things. So for us, we wanted to do a constitutional amendment in order to ameliorate the process, the election process, and also some other things. Because first of all, an initiative that I was really passionate about starting was something called the Jkusa Fund. So the Jkusa Fund, out of the bursaries that we usually give, although it's entrenched in the constitution, that 30% of our income has to go directly into bursaries. So the other ideology that I had is, out of this 30%, why don't we take 25%, channel it directly to the students, and then 5%, hii 30%, unajua sasa 30 unaweza equate to 100%.
Yes.
Sasa hii 5% tuchukue, and then we put it in maybe something, even if it's the money market funds, we come up with an investment plan for the Jkusa. So what this would be able to, or what this will enable the Jkusa to do is, first of all, we will have a good resource base. In money market funds, there are some that earn upwards of even 20% each year. So imagine each year you're contributing a rough figure, 1 million shillings. In the next 5 years, Jkusa will have an asset base of around even 10 million shillings.
Sure.
Alafu Jkusa, mnataka kuniambia hamtaweza kujenga hostels. The president that will be there, maybe 5 years down the line, wataka kuniambia you won't be able to use the 10 million to set up just, even if it's a ground floor hostel yenye inakaa fiti, and you generate more income activities. You know, you want to tell me that you cannot upgrade your student center maybe hata ikue gorofa sasa, so that more students can rent these properties. Students kukuwe na biz, in short, mastude wakuwe wanajikaza, student led initiatives. So these are all the aspects, all the things that we really wanted to encompass in our constitution, even in our satellite campuses. We have a TVET at current campus. Do you know that if we let the constitution stay the way it is, maybe the TVET will have representation 5 years to come, because that is when the constitution is supposed to be reviewed. So how will these TVET students have representation? Satellite campuses again also have a major problem in terms of representation when it comes to the university senate. Yes, we communicate with them, but why don't we give the council of governors, these the satellite campuses are campuses outside maybe the main campus. Why don't we give these governors a chance, one of them even, to be able to articulate the matters in the university senate? You know, when it comes to advocating for change of maybe something like a fee policy, instead of us having the only means as maybe just sitting in the boardroom there, or the other option, it's either the boardroom or we go the highway, you know. Why don't we give the next Jkusa leaders a chance to be able, at least wakae chini, they collect signatures for a petition to change the policies at university. Kama wanafunzi wanataka kulipa fees maybe after 8 weeks, why don't we create these systems and processes such that it will make it easier even for leadership, you know? But again, the process is a bit hard, because now this is where leadership comes in, and we have to set the politics aside. So it's really a pressing topic, you know, because this is all that encompasses, and not just that, yani it's a lot that goes into matters, the constitutional amendment, other than people just dwindling it down to kitu kama election pekee, you know. Yeah, so hiyo ni siasa. Watu waache porojo, ije kusatra waache na hizi mashida, na nyinyi ndio mtakuwa hapa mkiambia comrades the same things that we are telling them now. So why don't you just help us and support us in this process, that we have a Jkusa that can also stand up for itself, yeah? A Jkusa that can speak. Yeah.
A Jkusa that can speak.
Yeah.
Nakwambia leo kuna wisdom hapa ndani ya Youth Speak. Tunaendelea vizuri tena sana, tied to the question of constitutional amendment. Maybe would you propose that we have a coalition government in JKUAT, like people form coalitions then go in office?
Yeah, honestly, that would be something that would be really beautiful for especially the student body. Because this one, I have to be honest, yeah. all people that come into office sometimes are not leaders, and sometimes maybe because of this different stance, maybe Graham during the campaigns was supporting a different person who did not get in. This getting into office when you're maybe from different teams is something that JKUAT comrades should be really worried about, because the more you're trying to push for an agenda, the moment you're trying to push for something good for people, there's always maybe unapata there's too much resistance. There's just somebody who is loyal to their, I don't know, godfathers that got them into politics. So you're wondering, you have a new chairperson and somebody is still doing funny things behind your back, you know. So at the same time, it makes the objectives of the union really look funny, you know. It is something that really weakens the union, this thing for everybody coming into office peke yake. So I have a vision, let me just call it a vision, of someday when the students will be electing coalition, like students will be matching themselves, and a coalition will bring in this positivity. Let me show you. First of all, gender balance. Mademu wetu watapata chance, kwa sababu ukiwa kwa coalition inakuwa rahisi pia kujipigania, unaona, kupiganiwa na hiyo coalition. Two is regional distribution. Hatufai kukua at any point na Jkusa yenye the same thing umesema ya tribalism. Jkusa yenye inaonyeshana just a symbol, like inaonyeshana tu ni kama hii union ni just one people from one specific area, you know. That is something that I dream about, like Jkusa itakuwa na a good distribution of people, unaona. The other one is people who come into office with common goals. Unaona, mtu mwenye ana come into office with a common goal. Kama hii ni coalition, let's say I am really quite envious of what they have in KU kidogo and what they have in the University of Nairobi, because let's say what we saw even in the recently completed elections in KU, the TAR coalition winning, that was with Sarova. So that was something that is really just beautiful. Mkiingia into office, you're the ones to know that you promised. So the blame is upon the whole union. Si ati wewe uko hapo peke yako, you are pushing for a vision, unangangana left, right and center. Nani wewe peke yako unasukuma hiyo ndoto, simply because people will always know that nani analaumiango in Jkusa when things go wrong? The president. The president is always to blame. So it's also important that we see what other offices have also been doing. Ama kazi yao pia imekuwa ni ile mambo ya judgment too, judging and looking and saying that maybe when a mistake is done. Also for me, you know, it's also easy for me. Nikiwa the president, ni rahisi sana because of hii kitu yetu ya kuingia polepole. Hata makosa ikifanywa na mtu wa doketi yangu, nasema unaona, hiyo si doketi yangu, unaona. But if we came in together as a team, we will be answerable for the goals, for the visions that we shared. The other thing, for the politicians, hii ni kitu ingine pia. Getting into Jkusa really consumes a lot of money. And it's not fair when Jkusa especially is viewed for me, I was really lucky that my family is supportive of initiatives like this. But what about the people who think of Jkusa as an investment, man? You know, so this is a question that we have to ask. Jkusa should not look like an investment. So if you find a group of people coming together with a common vision and each person contributing, maybe huyu jamaa kona katati kake, mwingine hapa kona kachwani, maybe chea anakuja na kaso, na mnakuja mnaiweka pamoja, and it comes to meet the purpose of your campaign. It helps mnakuja pamoja as a team, you are campaigning together. It will significantly reduce the cost of elections for a candidate even in JKUAT. And by the time they get into office, if maybe they did not have the clear vision, itakaka return on investment, what happens when people get into the office. So I think hiyo ndio kitu yenye naweza sema about coalition government. The negativities pia ni mkipata, everything has a positive side and a negative side, but now this is also up to the students to use their wisdom in selecting. Ndio msipate mmeingiza ofisi coalition ya wezi, ndio pia wapate wameharibu kila kitu, you know. But now I believe the JKUAT students, the delegates are wise. So coalitions is just a beautiful thing. And I think even in the next election, if you're a candidate that wants to come into these offices, the students and the delegates, I'd ask you, because this is from the heart, this is from lessons that I've taken into this office. If you see a candidate supporting maybe people, another candidate for another post, if that is the person they choose to work with, judge them together. Msianze kusema ati huyu tunamwangusha because ana support huyu. No, msifanye hivyo. Just listen to each of them. Mkiona mnaweza supportiana, even if it's not something that is happening, but from JKUAT, let the students choose. Shikaneni coalition zenu chini ya maji ama zile zenye mnaweza come. Let's even have somebody, let's have daring people, bold people come into this Jkusa and say, these are the people that I want to work with. That is something that I felt nili miss out sana on, and maybe kidogo ningepata chance ya kurudi back in time. Ningesimamia the people that maybe I would have really wanted to work with, because I feel it would have also made the road a bit easier. But most of the people here, at least I also thank God, wamekuwa wase wenye wanaweza push for a common goal. Yes.
Okay. Mr. President.
Yes.
Coming to the end, tukikaribia mwisho. What are your future aspirations after you finish your studies, after you finish your regime in Jkusa and JKUAT? What are you planning to do afterwards?
Honestly, the other time, by the way, I think I'm a person who really lives in the future too much. Sometimes I forget about today. This time, I think at the moment I just want to deal with today. I think tomorrow there's a time that I spoke with the CEO of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, Mr. Anthony Mwangi, and I was so worried. I think that was still at the start of my regime, and I was so worried about maybe the next step in my future. And he told me, you know what, Brian, just do today to the best of your capability, and I think tomorrow will just present itself. So of course, sisemi sina plans. Sisemi sina plans. No, when you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. That is something that we have all been told.
Sure.
So for sure, my future plans is more looking into maybe biz kidogo. But kwanza nataka kumaliza regime, nitengeneze degree yangu kidogo hapo 5th year, nitandikane project, pia niingize engineering kabisa, because I've been, student leadership. I think being the president of JKUAT is more of management. Yeah, so I need to go back to engineering, gaining a lot of technical skills, and at the same time pia nataka kurelax man. Graham, hii kazi wewe unajua si rahisi. Wewe unajua kwa hizi maofisi, wewe Graham ukifanya kitu kidogo mbaya, nani anaulizangu?
Ni president tu.
Haya, mtu mwingine hapa afanye kitu kingine fani, nani anaulizangu?
President.
Sasa hivyo ndio Jkusa iko. Kila mtu afanye makosa, hata school rep fulani aende afanye mambo gani huko. President ndio wako na majibu. Sasa for me, I think I also need to just hey, stop the world. Let me rest.
Okay.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Let me rest kidogo.
Very interesting. That is right from the Jkusa President Brian Mutevu. Maybe there's a youth watching you from each and any part of the country, each and any part of the world. Maybe what can be your advice to those who are watching us there as your parting shot?
So my advice is really something simple. If you're coming into leadership, actually this is something that I want to read in all interviews. Let me first of all deal with wale wenye wanataka kuingia into hizi vitu za leadership kidogo. Acha tu, because this is something that I shared with the leaders. So wacha niwasomee kitu kadogo. So these are the words of Mother Teresa, I think. And this is what Mother Teresa says. People are often, this is for the leaders, especially those that are coming into these leadership offices. People are often unreasonable and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are honest, people may cheat you. Be honest anyway. If you find happiness, people may be jealous, but be happy anyway. The good you do today may be totally forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give your best anyway. So those are the words that I'll tell the people who want to come into leadership, or maybe the guiding principle that I think this is something that I've come to learn, especially towards this end of my regime, because my regime has not really been the softest. It's not been the softest spot, you know. And the other one, especially also to the leaders, leadership si place tu ya kukaa chini. It's not just a place to sit down and do the processes, you know. Your work is not just to sign documents. Your work is not just to maybe just even represent students. You also have a duty in terms of inspiring the next generation of the people to come after you. The problem with us being young, we always forget that there is a future generation. We think that we are the future so much that we forget that there is a future that is coming after us. So for me, I also hope that we all can, in whatever skill that you're good in. For me, it's been leadership. I hope to mentor people. I hope to mentor the next generation. I hope to inspire people to take up this leadership role. I hope after mimi nimetoka JKUAT, more people will be inspired to lead the way Mutevu led, maybe, or to even want to do better than I was able to do. So for other people, I will also ask you to join me in this journey, because tukiishi hivyo, at least life will be better for all of us, you know. And for everyone else, kitu yenye mimi naambia say, especially with the current economic times, Graham, mimi najiulizanga kama mimi ni president wa Jkusa na kinaniramba hivi, nasikia uchumi nasikia mfuko ni moto tu. Hayo watu wengine wanafanya nini? Unajua kale kamshahara kangu ka 1500. Unajua kwa kamshahara. Sasa mimi najiuliza comrade mwingine mwenye mambo inamchemukia inakuanga namna gani? But I'd also love to encourage people that if you're in a hard patch, usiori, dunia haiwezi kuwa ngumu throughout. Pia if you're in a happy patch, brace yourself for the future. It's coming. It might be the rough patch that you're coming to meet next.
It's been nice having the JKUAT president Brian Mutevu, and from him we've got a lot of good insights, words of wisdom, and nice words. And I can say it is a good initiative. And I'm looking forward to seeing each and every one of you coming back to watch the next episode of Youth Speak. Remember, we are turning it on each and every time. This is the Youth Speak, and this is the African Motives Media. Remember, the African Motives Media, we got you covered.